For over 10 years, Emmy Award-winning host Bill McLean engaged America's top thinkers in penetrating roundtable talk. None of his skills prepared him for Marlon Brando. Humiliated by this interview, SBTV locked it in the vault forever. But due to public demand, backed by the Congressional Freedom of Information Act, this infamous episode of The Bill McLean Show can finally be seen. Live from his studio in downtown New York, this is The Bill McLean Show. Here now is Bill McLean.
A gifted child from day one, some have even said genius, he was awarded the Irvin Nestor Prize for creative thinking at the mere age of 6. Graduating high school 2 years early, he was accepted into Columbia University's prestigious creative writing program, where his short fiction garnered numerous awards. At 28, his debut novel, The Narcissus Conundrum, which some have already proclaimed his magnum opus, has been a New York Times bestseller for 27 weeks. If only for the aforementioned details, it would be an honor to have him here today. However, we have the added distinction of presenting his very first interview. It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to Marlon Brando. Welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
Well, The Narcissus Conundrum has certainly touched a lot of people.
It has.
And there's a lot of description of flowers in it. A lot of description. I thought you were a florist. Why the focus on flowers? Is there a theme there?
Yes. When I think about the honeyed catacombs that exist within each flower, that is a metaphor for that cathedral within that there is within each of us, a sweet honeyed place at the center, making each flower and each person unique. You just can't put this into words, can you? Unless you write a book about it.
You know, your voice reminds me of someone.
It's the voice of Dante, Milton, Proust. I have my influences, sure, Bill. I think it's a unique voice, my own, that's speaking to people directly through my book.
Clearly. But you seem somewhat reluctant to speak directly to people yourself.
Well, I'm a private person, Bill. My soul is not for public consumption.
Is that why you've avoided the spotlight for so long?
There are people who are born to be in front of the camera and people who are born to be behind the camera. You have to decide for yourself where you want to be. So I ask you, do you want to be in front or behind? Or are you in front of the camera through me? Is that what's happening?
Well, actually, we're both in front of the camera right now.
I'm ready for people to know me for who I am.
Marlon Brando. That's who you remind me of.
Who?
Marlon Brando. You sound exactly like him.
I'm sorry, I don't know who you're talking about.
You don't know who Brando is? The Godfather?
Who he is not important here. Who I am is what's important, and who I am is contained in my book.
Yes. I want to read an excerpt from your novel. The flowers all weep for me as I sulk down the lane. They, in their infinite varieties, lilacs, daisies, narcissi, to name but a few, are seen only as flowers, lumped together like dead fish, instead of recognized as the separate, unique creatures they are. Good God. You look like him, too. What? It's uncanny. Are you trying to look like Brando?
No!
Well, you're succeeding. You're not contorting your face in any way. This is how you always look.
No, I'm not making a face. This is my face.
You were born with that face?
This is the face that I was born with, yeah.
So you've looked like Marlon Brando from the time you were born?
Well, I don't know what I looked like at the time I was born. I probably looked like a baby, Bill.
Well, it's just bizarre. It can't be just a coincidence.
Can your imagination not get past the fact I'm not one person who you think I am? I came here. I don't want to... Look, okay. I am totally respectful of your work, all right?
Thank you.
No, really, I've seen your work, and I think it's fine.
I want to say that I've seen your work, too, but I guess that gets to the heart of the matter.
You haven't seen my work. You've seen Marlon Brando's work. That's two totally different things.
That's true.
Well, that's something you should know. Something you should learn and act on and think about and speak to me with the common respect of a man speaking to another man who happens to not be the
You're right.
same.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me.
Look, I'm a famous author now. I talked about my book.
Yes. Let's get back to your novel.
All right.
What brought you to write this story?
That's a good question. It's really the culmination of years and years of experiences and emotions that began during my childhood.
Did people say you looked like Brando when you were growing up? I'm sorry.
I'll go to heaven with this.
Go on.
When I was in school...
People pick on you?
It wasn't easy
The
for me.
teachers stop lectures to point you out and mock you?
Mock me?
For looking like Brando.
I told you I don't want to hear another single question relating to Marlon Brando!
Any hobbies? Interests?
I have a collection of small angelic figurines.
No, I'm sorry. I can't let this one go. You look like him. You sound like him. Now I understand why you've avoided publicity all this time. You want people to like your novel on its own merits and not because you're Brando.
I am not Brando!
But I'm right, aren't I?
Yes, you're right.
Finally, we're getting somewhere. How has this affected your life? It's okay. Take your time.
It hasn't been easy for me. Imagine if every person you ever met asked you, has anyone ever told you you look like Brando, you sound like Brando?
Even your parents.
Or they ask, are you doing Brando? Are you related to Brando? Can you stop doing Brando? I'm trying to eat.
But what's so bad about resembling Marlon Brando? He's an American
I
icon.
think it's a barrier. I can't help that I look like this and I talk like this. It's a handicap. Just as you see someone in a wheelchair on the street, you don't point out their handicap. You just sort of, what do? You accept and you understand. And you know who the person is. You want to get to know the person. The person's what's important. The character, the heart of the person, that's what's important.
But I imagine people would think...
What they think and what you think can come to the consequence of nothing, I assure you.
Okay. Take it easy. I was just going to say that people know you through your book now, so you've broken the barrier.
You think so?
I know so. And on that note, let's take some calls. Gainesville, Florida. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. McLean. Love your show. I just tuned in. I haven't read this guy's book, but I do have a question for him. Has anyone ever told him that he looks like Marlon Brando? Can he do any Brando for us? Maybe something from Streetcar?
Go to hell!
Let's show our guest a little respect, please.
Okay, maybe not Streetcar, maybe Waterfront. Or Superman.
I don't do Brando.
Just give us a little Godfather.
Why not, Marvin? It can't hurt. It's what they want. 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 What they want.
You want Brando? You want him?
Yeah.
And here's a goddamn Brando. Hey, stop!
Thank you for tuning in. I want to thank our very special guest, Marlon Brando.
Get your goddamn hands off me. I want to talk about my book.
This has been the Bill McLean Show. Thank you and good night. What was that about? Who we got tomorrow night? Al Pacino? What are you wearing? Is that my shirt? Barney, I'm going to a reception at the Guggenheim. Well, you know what happens when you wear my shirt. Smells like a dog run. Barney, take off that shirt. Take off that shirt right now, mister.